is an interesting box. Just a big, huge box. And this is the rest of the boxes are in horrible condition, but I haven't really checked on the books yet. But this is another mystery. I haven't looked at these books. These were just overflowing, so these are on top. And I noticed some of these are kids. There's a few kids, but I think the rest are adults. I'm not exactly sure yet. This is the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, KRSTINA. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy stuff going on here. I don't know what. Oh, it's the box. It's like, why can't I bring? It's the box. The box is in the way. All right. So, let's get to it. There's an awful lot here. These are all paperbacks. At least I was told they're all paperbacks. We'll see what happens here. The Fellowship of Fear. A Gideon Oliver mystery. Meet Professor Gideon Oliver, full-time anthropologist, part-time detective, and brand new visiting fellow at Heidelberg University. Even though the two previous occupants of this chair both died under mysterious circumstances, he's eagerly looking forward to his new position. But Gideon's relaxing trip abroad will soon turn into a nightmare chase across the continent for a deadly game of murder and spy versus spy. He's about to become a most important target. He won't know the rules, he'll have very little besides his considerable intellectual powers to help him, and he'll be playing for some fairly high stakes. His life. And let's see. I wish I knew how to fix this lighting issue. I really do. Anybody has any clues, let me know. 1982. Curses, a Gideon Oliver mystery. Aaron Elkins. Anthropologist Professor Gideon Oliver, America's skeleton detective, hero of the Edgar-winning novel Old Bones, makes a triumphant return. Gideon is enlisted by his mentor to travel to the Yukon Peninsula and inspect a skeleton in the reopened ruins of the archaeology dig at Tila. Gideon had worked the dig 5 years earlier when a collective colleague of dubious repute discovered a fabulously rare and valuable Mayan code index and subsequently made off with it to parts unknown. Let's see. These seem interesting. 1989. Deviant Behavior, Earl W. Emerson. 17-year-old Todd Steeb has been missing for 8 days when his wealthy parents hire Thomas Black to investigate. Faith Steeb is worried by her son's obsession with suicide, though her husband dismisses it as a useful deviance. Either way, ex-cop Black and his lawyer friend Kathy Birchfield aren't exactly thrilled. Runaway kids are a dime a dozen. Let's see. 1988. Karma. Susan Dunlap. 30-something junk food maven and brash, brainy Berkeley cop Jill Smith usually don't spend much time contemplating her navel, but she accepted an invitation to see the new guru in town. She was as shocked as the rest of the packed house when the young man's spirit rose to heaven before their eyes, with a little earthly aid from the dagger buried deep in his swirling red robes. Oops. Let's see. 1981. Edward Albee, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Now that's a classic. Since O'Neill's long day's journey into night on the basis of 4 short plays and now one of rather more full length, Mr. Albee can, without any danger of fulsome exaggeration, be placed among the high, important dramaticists of the contemporary world. Okay. Is there a synopsis in here? Nope. No synopsis, but what's the 1962. Jill Smith, Susan Dunlap. Telegraph Avenue ain't what it used to be now that gentrification has gotten underway. But Jill Smith, the junk food loving, smart and savvy Berkeley cop, hasn't changed, chugging along in her vintage VW to fetch a pint of chocolate shower ice cream. She runs into a case of murder. 1985. Hoyas Deception? With Kieran O'Shaughnessy, MD, former California medical examiner, now detective for hire, is choosy about her cases, but finding out if the hanging of a handsome young priest in Phoenix, Arizona church is suicide or an accident is one she can't refuse. 1989. Rain City. Rain clouds made Seattle gray and dismal. Murder made it deadly. The first to die was just a dog, but his particular mutt belonged to a tough ex-cop turned private eye, Thomas Black. It was a death Black took to heart because the killer had the same fate in mind for him. He was on the case of a missing blonde named Melissa, who had big blue eyes and a past that was pure scarlet. Let's see. 1985. Howard Engel, Murder on Location. Hollywood elite has gathered on the shores of Niagara Falls for making of the epic thriller Ice Bridge, but when Benny Cooperman wanders onto the set, he's not looking for a bit part. He's doggedly tracing a woman who's missing from Grantham, Cooperman's hometown and usual beat. Let's see. 1982. This is going to show up on one of my Star Trek episodes. This is the only one in here. I want to know where the others went. Here is a special Star Trek novel from woman consistently voted by fans as their favorite writer from the original Star Trek television series. D.C. Fontana, writer of such classic as Star Trek episodes Journey to Babel and This Side of Paradise, here brings us the never-before-told story of the young Mr. Spock on his first mission aboard the USS Enterprise. You'll also meet Christopher Pike and his enigmatic First Officer Number 1. See, this will have to go in my Star Trek video. 1989. All right. Let's see. Cheetah Girls, Off the Hook, book 13 through 16. 13, Oops, Doggy Dog. 14, Bow Wow. 15, Bring It On. 16, Twinkle Twinkle Cheetah Stars. Guerrilla is psyched. It looks as though the Cheetah Girls are finally going to get their chance to record a demo from Mouse Almighty. But when she finds out that her mean old neighbor's pedigree pooch Buffy is about to have puppies, and her dog Toto is the father, soon Galleria and her family are caught up in a humorous custody battle. Okay. Let's see. It's weird how these ended up in the same box. 2002. My arm's getting tired. Cheetah Girls, Girl Power 9 through 12. Showdown at the Okie Dokie. Cucifina Ballerina. Dorina gets a groove in the house with a mouth. Gallerina, Chanel, Dorina, and Aquanet are flying after the ferocious opening number for Karma's Children in Houston. But CMG, the Cash Money Girls, hurl catcalls at the Cheetah Girls for supposedly cribbing lines from a CMG song. Can the girls pounce back after the fiasco? (2001). Oh, do you remember this TV show? You gotta go watch this TV show if you haven't seen it. If your kids haven't seen it. Little House on the Prairie, Laura Ingalls. They were howling in the moonlight, enormous and so close Laura could almost see their glittering eyes. Pa, she whispered, turning from the window. The wolves have made a circle around the whole house. What will we do? Well, it's obviously a reprint, but it says 1935 and 1965. A Bear Called Paddington. Now that's a classic. Mr. and Mrs. Brown first met Paddington, a most endearing bear from darkest Peru, on a railroad platform in London. A sign hanging around his neck, "Please look after this bear, thank you." So that's just what they did. Aw. 1958. The box is heavy. What'd I lose? I lost something. Tales of Fourth Grade Nothing. Judy Bloom. Come on, people. Um, Living with his little brother Fudge, Peter Hatcher feels like a fourth grade nothing. Whether he's throwing a temper in a shoe store, smearing mashed potatoes on the walls at Hamburger Heaven, or scribbling all over Peter's homework, Fudge is never far from trouble. He's a 2-year-old terror who gets away with everything, and Peter's had enough. When Fudge walks off with Dribble, Peter's pet turtle, it's the last straw. (1972). Julie of the Woods. Alone and lost on the north slope of Alaska, Maya, a young Eskimo rebel against a home situation that she finds intolerable, she runs away toward San Francisco toward her pen pal who calls her Julie. But soon Maya is lost without food, without even a compass. Slowly she accepted by a pack of Arctic wolves and comes to love them as though they were her brothers. Ah, let's see. 1972. Ah, The Scarlet Letter. Well, that's a classic. First published in 1850, The Scarlet Letter is Nathaniel Hawthorne's masterpiece and one of the greatest American novels. I wonder why. Someone wrote their name on it. Oh, and they wrote in it. It's very heavily written on. Been underlined. And it's been highlighted. So that's why they didn't keep it. 1994 is the edition of this copy. Well, this is different. The Kingdom of Renly. 10 Pegasus Quest. The stuff in this box. We have to take the thing off. Let's see if we can get it off. Well, this is a hardcover. When a shooting star streaks across the night sky, Prince Lucas makes a wish for an adventure. Little does he know it will come true. Isn't that cute? Prince Lucas and his best friend Clara Gills leaned on the balcony railing and gazed at the full moon. A ribbon of blue light shimmered across the sea of Renly, but this was no ordinary moon. It was a blue moon, something so rare it is said to only happen once in a lifetime. 2016. This isn't that old. Uh, Mate, dates, and sleepover secrets. Kathy Hopkins. He talked, I listened as I tried to appear interested, even though Mojo was more interesting in what I had to say, and he's a dog. Teresa Joanne TG to her friends, it's having a difficult year. First her best friend moved away, then there's a problem with the boys. They never seem to notice that she's a girl. This is cute. 2002. Beverly Clearly, Henry and Beezus. Henry Huggins thinks girls are a nuisance. He doesn't mind Bees Quimby, though. At least Beezus, short for Beatrice, is a sensible girl. She's okay even if her pesky little sister Ramona always tags at her heels. Ramona is 4, likes to play silly games, and is quite a pain, in Henry's opinion. Still, Henry has to admit that even Ramona isn't so bad sometimes. She and Beezus know that Henry has his heart set on earning enough money to buy a bicycle, and they went to help him. He's cooked up some wild money shames like selling 49 boxes of bubblegum to his classmates, training his dog Ribsy to deliver papers, and figuring out what to do with $50 worth of free permanent waves at a ladies' beauty salon. Okay. And 1952, redone in 1979. Uh, I have no idea. Let's see. Um, Sarah Shepard and Lila Buckingham. Influence. After a video she makes go viral, everyone knows Delilah rolls. The rush of getting likes is a drug she can't get enough of. I'd like some likes too. And now that she's in LA, Delilah's standing on the edge of something incredible. Everything is going to change. She has no idea how much. Jasmine Walter Diaz grew up in the spotlight, a child star turned media darling with 20 million followers. The post of her in her classic Lulu C rainbow skirt practically broke the internet. Let's see. 2021. This isn't that old. This is pretty good. It's in pretty good condition. Hmm. What do you think? Let's see. I think these are the rest of these are adult. I think. The Weaver. Emmy Tarrant? Elena is a model citizen of the island, a weaver in the prestigious House of Webs. She also harbors dangerous secrets. She can read and write, which is forbidden to most women, and she can dream, an ability forbidden by the island's elusive Council of Elders. No one talks about the dreamers, the undesirables abstracted from society. But the web of protection Elena has woven around herself begins to unravel when a young girl is found lying unconscious in a pool of blood on the stones outside the house. Robbed of speech by her attackers, the only clue to identity is one word tattooed invisible ink across her palm. Elena. Why does this mysterious girl bear her name? What links her to the Weaver, and how can Elena's fate in her hand? Let's see. 2016. Might show up again. The Seafarer's Kiss, Julia Ember. Having long wondered what lives beyond the ice shelf, 19-year-old mermaid Ursula learns the life she wants when she rescues and befriends Regina, a shield maiden stranded on the Merfolk's fortress. But when Easel's childhood friend and suitor catches them together, he gives Ursula a chance say goodbye to Regina or face justice at the hands of the gracious Buddha king. What a horrible boy. Can't let her be friends. 2017. It's a little on the newer side. It's in pretty good condition. It doesn't even look like anybody's read it. Tim O'Brien, Going After CACCIATO. This is definitely not a kid's book. Let's see. Going After Keshishio captures the particular mixture of horror and hallucinations that mark the strangest of wars. In a blend of reality and fantasy, this novel tells the story of a young soldier who one day lays down his rifle and sets off on a quixotic journey from the jungles of Indochina to the streets of Paris. What's this? Oh, this is like a keeper. I'll have to find me another one of these. A Novel Way to Die. It's brand new. 2020. Sawyer Davis, a chef who inherited her mother's mystery bookshop, is hosting her first book signing for the world's biggest diva, but juggling the author's lofty demands, learning how to be a surrogate mother to a 15-year-old, and dealing with the sheriff who once broke her heart, Sawyer's menu is full. She longs for the days when the worst thing that happened was a flap souffle. That might be a keeper. We know this guy. This guy's really popular. CJ Box, Vicious Circle, and Wolfpack. Let's see, Wolfpack. The good news is that Joe Pickett has his job back after his last adventure and disappeared. The bad news is he's learned a drone is killing wildlife, and the drone belongs to a mysterious and wealthy man whose son is dating Joe's own daughter, Lucy. When Joe tries to lay down the rules for the drone operator, he asks by the FBI and DOJ to stand down, which only makes him more suspicious. Meanwhile, bodies are piling up in and around Joe's district in shocking numbers. He begins to fear that the wolf pack, 4 vicious killers working on behalf of the Sonoya cartel, has arrived. And the other one is The Plane Circled in the Dark. Joe Pickett could just make out down a figure in the snow and timber, and then 3 other figures closing in. There was nothing he could do about it, and Joe knew that he might be next. The Gates family had always been a bad lot. Joe had been able to strike a fierce blow against them when they critically endangered the life of his daughter April, but he'd always wondered if there'd be a day of reckoning. Maybe. Every Summer After, Corey Fortune. They say you can never go home again, and PEREPHONE, Fraser, FRASER. Ever since she made the biggest mistake of her life a decade ago, that has felt too true. Instead of spending glittering summers on the lakeshore of her childhood, she stays home in a stylish apartment in the city, keeping everyone at a safe distance from her heart until she receives the call that sends her racing back to Barry's Bay and onto the orbit of Sam FLOREK, the man she never thought she'd have to live without. 2022. Ah, to figure out how to put all this stuff back in. Up, naked guy on the cover. From Jack Donovan, smoke jumping is a way of life. He lives for the adrenaline rush, the thrill of living over the burning California hills, the intensity of diving straight into the inferno, the glory of taming the forces of nature. Love is a distant ember compared to the feeling he gets fighting fires, or until an emergency call from his hometown brings him face to face with the one woman he can't forget. Let's see. 2012. The True and Outstanding Adventures of the Hunt Sisters. An outpouring of cheers, tears, and applauses propelled this tender and hilarious first novel onto national bestseller lists immediately upon publication. Telling the story of two sisters, Olivia, a hotshot Hollywood producer whose life was unraveling, and Maddie, an unflagging, optimistic, seriously ill Midwesterner whose idealism has always driven Olivia crazy. The True and Outstanding Adventures of the Hunt Sisters offers a starting poignant reminder of how hope can grow even in the darkest places. Yeah. 2005. A lady we see all the time. Jodi Picoult. People ask for her all the time. A developer has slated an ancient Ab Abenaki Indian burial ground for a strip mall, and now strange happenings have the inhabitants of tiny COMTOSSOOK Vermont talking of supernatural forces at work. Ross Wakeman is a ghost hunter who's never seen a ghost. All he's searching for is something to end the pain of losing his fiancée Amy in a car accident. He's tried suicide any number of times. Now Ross lives only for a way to connect with Amy from beyond. Searching the site for signs of paranormal, Ross meets the mysterious LILIA, who sparks him to life for the first time in years. But the discoveries that await Ross are beyond anything he could have ever dreamed of. Second glance. 2003. Philip Gulley, Front Porch Tales. When Philip Gulley began writing newsletter essays for 12 members of his Quaker meeting in Indiana, he had no idea one of them would find its way to the radio commentator Paul Harvey Jr. and be read on the air 24 million people. 14 books later, with more than 1 million books in print, Gulley still entertains as well as inspires from his small town porch. 2001. Feral Sam's Run with the Horsemen. Peter Osborne Jr. is a precocious, sensitive, and rambunctious boy trying to make it through the adolescence during the Depression years. On a red clay farm in Georgia, he learns all there is to know about cotton chopping, hog killing, watermelon thumping, and mule handling. School activities, a quick course in practical jokes, schoolboy crushes, athletic glory, and clandestine sex, but it's Porter's family, his genteel, patient mother with swarm of cousins, his snuff-dipping grandmother, and most of all his beloved though flawed father, who teach Porter the painful truth about growing up. And see. 1982. I gotta figure out how to put all these back in here now. Oh, it's pretty new. A Northminster Mystery, The Butchered Man, Harriet Smart. Northminster, 1840, a once picturesque cathedral city where dirty smokestacks now rival ancient spires. When workmen make the shocking discovery of a mutilated corpse in a ditch outside the ancient walls, Giles Vernon and Felix Carswell are charged with solving the case. Intelligent and practical Chief Constable Major Vernon has transformed the old city watch into a modern police force, and he throws himself into investigation with the same energy. But as he probes a murky world of professional gamblers and jilted lovers, he is drawn into a dangerous emotional game that threatens to undermine his authority. Newly qualified police surgeon Felix Carswell is determined to make his way in the world on his own terms despite being the bastard son of a prominent local grandee lord, Rothborough. Called to treat a girl in an asylum for reform prostitution, when he uncovers there brings him into conflict with his new employer, Vernon, and throws the case into disarray. And this looks practically unread. 2011. I don't think anybody's. The spine is fine. I don't think anybody's read this. It's so clean. And it's white. And this type of white leads me to, it looks like an ARC. It's not, but it looks like it because it's so white. I only see ARCs this white. That's advanced reading copy if you didn't know. High Dive, Jonathan Lee. In the fall of 1984, the Grand Hotel on the seaside of Brighton, England, became ground zero for the attempted assassination of Margaret Thatcher. Nimbly weaving together fact and fiction, comedy and tragedy, here Jonathan Lee vividly reimagines those fateful days. (2015) Happy King and the Puppy Caper, an Amish mystery, Amy Lillard. When Knapp's neighbor Ruth Peachy turns up dead in her yard, everyone in Blue Sky believes it's a tragic accident until the English police find the genteel dog breeder was deliberately struck down and arrest her mentally challenged son Jimmy for the crime. Jimmy's sister Edie returns to Blue Sky to clear his name, yet no one will speak to a shunned former Amish woman, much less give her information. Determined to help, Cappy starts digging for the truth among her seemingly innocent neighbors. 2018. It's a little it might have got pushed someplace, but other than that, it's in pretty good condition. Christy Woodson Harvey, Under the Southern Sky. Well, this is new. It's the new size. When journalist Amelia Saxon discovers that a cluster of frozen embryos belonging to her childhood friend Parker and his late life Greer have been deemed abandoned, she's put in the inevitable position of telling Parker. Parker has been unable to move forward since the loss of his wife. He has forgotten all about the embryos, but he knows that if he ever wants to get a part of Greer back, he'll have to accept his fate and a single father and find a surrogate. 2021. This might have spent time at the beach. It's just a slight warped. And it's had some reading. This is a big box. author of Gates, Fire, and the Virtues of War, Stephen Pressfield. The Afghan Campaign. Jesus, I bet this is a font 6. The best-selling novelist of ancient warfare returns with this riveting historical novel that recreates Alexander the Great's invasion of Afghan in 330 BC. In a story that might have been ripped from today's combat paid dispatches, Stephen Pressfield brings to life the confrontation between an invading Western army and a fierce Eastern warriors determined at all costs to defend their homeland. Let's see. 2006. Got the maps. Far to say far enough. Please, God, show me what we're doing here. Go another mile. With 2 Sacrament houses open, the Sisters' second-hand clothing boutique makes its debut, and the orphan Desmond legally adopted, well-reluctant prophet Allison Chamberlain finally says enough when God continues to nudge her, this time go another mile. In this gripping conclusion to the reluctant prophet trilogy, Allison confronts the darkness of society both in the drug-infested neighborhood of West King Street and within the menacing business empire of Chamberlain Enterprises. Allison must decide, is the price of anger and hatred worth the cost of loving? Let's see. Two 2012. Oh, this is the modern one. Dave Barry, Insane City. Seth Weinstein always knew Tina was way, way, way out of his league, which is why he's still astonished that he's on a plane heading for their wedding in Florida. The groom passe has already pulled an airport prank on him, and he survived. It should be smooth sailing from now on. Seth has absolutely no idea that what he's about to get into. A simple drink or the two with the boys sparks a series of events that will pit Smith and his friends against everything and everyone imaginable. Okay. 2013. Anna Brashares. This was in the last. There was one of hers in one of the last groups. The last summer. Riley and Alice, 2 sisters now in their 20s, are fiercely different as they are loyal, having spent every summer at their parents' modest beach house. And every summer growing up there was also Paul, a close friend to the girls. Now, after 3 years away from the island, he's come back, but his return marks a season of change. Unspoken attractions, tragedy, and deep secrets that will launch 3 friends into an unfamiliar adult world. See. 2007. Afraid to Death, Mark Bem. Shoot. 1999. This is a reprint of 2000. Joe Egan is a decent man. He spends his life boarding airplanes and buses, winning and losing at poker, abandoning a woman he's in love with. In fact, he lives like a madman or a man in fear of his life. Of course, there is that blonde woman who keeps following him around. Okay. Okay. This is the end of the box. These are book 2. I wonder what happened to book 1 because it's not in here. So we have book 2 and 3. The Fitzwillen Darcy. When Fitzwilliam Darcy leaves Hertfordshire, he's a man conflicted, bewitched by a woman of meager fortune and vulgar relations. In Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen reveals a little more about her creation, his past or present. Can Darcy find a woman of his own? And with those let's see, the last man in the world whom I could ever prevail to marry. With those devastating words, Fitzwilliam's proposals to Elizabeth Bennet is thoroughly rejected and his characters wholly condemned. In Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen reveals a little bit how Darcy comes to terms with his question of rejection and the question of what manner of man he truly is. In Fitzwilliam Darcy, Gentleman, Pamela Aidan answers these intriguing questions by taking the reader into Darcy's world. Life's Golden Ticket. 2007. It's in what is sure to become a classic. Burchard has crafted a triumph tale of personal growth and a change that will inspire any reader who has ever wished for a second chance. Okay. Girl with Pearl Earrings, TRACY CHEVALIER. History and fiction merge seamlessly in TRACY CHEVALIER's luminous novel about artistic vision and sensual awakening through the eyes of a 16-year-old garret in the world of 1660s Holland comes dazzling alive in this richly imagined portrait of the young woman who inspired one of Vermeer's most celebrated paintings. Okay. 1999 with reprinting in 2001. The Inspector McCleary Mystery, Shadow of the Serpent, David ASHTON. 1880 Edinburgh. Election fever grips the city, but while the rich and educated argue about politics in the dank winds of the docks, it's a struggle to stay alive. When a prostitute is brutally murdered, disturbing memories from 30 years ago are stirred. Inspector McCleary, who is lured into a murky world of politics, perversion, and deception, and the Shadow of the Serpent. 2006. Oh, well, this is someone we know. Barbara Breton, Casting Spells. Sugar Maple looks like any bucolic Vermont town, but when the tourists go home, it's a different story, inhabited as it is with warlocks, sprites, vampires, witches, and an ancient secret. And I know all about secrets. I'm Chloe Hobbs, owner of Sticks and Strings, a popular knitting shop where your yarn never tangles. You always get gauge, and the knitter sitting next to you comes out only after dark. I'm also a sorcerer's daughter, a single sorcerer's daughter, with Sugar Maple's future in her hand, which means the whole town is casting spells meant to help me find Mr. Right. Who'd have guessed I'd find him in Luke Mackenzie, a cop investigating Sugar Maple's very first murder. Bad news is he's 100% human, which could spell disaster for a normal future with paranormal women like me. And that's the end of this pile. That's the end of all these books. That's the end of this box. There's another one over there. A hardcover mystery, I think. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't looked at them. So, if you could please hit the like and subscribe. These unboxings are fun. I enjoy the heck out of them. I don't know if you enjoy the heck out of them either, but I'm always curious to find out what's in them. And I'm so sorry that Betsy keeps going off. I'm going to have to take the batteries out of her. I swear it. One of these days. So if you could please hit the like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Please check out Star Trek Next Generation recaps on Friday. Also, please check out If Then on Friday afternoon. If you like this author, maybe like that author. We got carried away with some Valentine stuff. We're doing some St. Patrick's stuff. Got some interesting stuff coming down the line. There's St. Patrick's Cozy Mysteries, and I should have called it Blarney Stone, but I didn't think about it after I published it. It's fake books by real authors. Microsoft Copilot invented all these books that don't exist. So have a good day. Enjoy.